Hi, I'm Julian Weissenberg. I'm an AI expert, and I do tech due diligence.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicole Büttner. I'm an AI entrepreneur and investor, an ecosystem builder in Germany and Europe, to drive the adoption of AI out of Europe.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Beshat. I am a Vice President of Engineering for Cloud AI at Google.
Okay. My name is Andreas. I'm the Managing Director of the Applied AI Initiative in Germany, which is the largest initiative to drive the adoption of AI of a whole country.
So hi, my name is Bastian Nomenocher. I'm co-founder and co-CEO of Celonis. At Celonis, we have pioneered process mining, a technology that applies AI to help companies improve the efficiency of their business processes.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Artem. I'm head of technology and innovation in Leverex. So Leverex is a system integrator. We're supporting enterprises and startups.
Thank you very much. We literally have the whole world represented here, and a very different angle to AI each and every time. Now we're talking about ethics, values, and how to make sure that there's true trust in what we're creating.
So and from our perspective, because we are touching different startups, so we're supporting 50, 60 with the kind of services, and we see this productivity, first of all, that we're using this widely in engineering. So from one perspective, creativity, if we have some specific task, when we have some board member meetings and discussions, we can have like a third-party opinion using GenAI. So and also even some kind of insights. When we have a discussions, we're analyzing a lot of the data internally, so when we can get also information in more like suitable way. So at least these items, which I believe very, very open, and some creation of the content which is more kind of specific for the users. So we see really big outcome from GenAI for our organization.
So the creativity is specifically both in the content, in the usership, and in the way that it's being operated.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean, it's like we can have like I would say like third-party opinion. So because when we have a group of people, like for example board member meetings, so it's a lot of the discussions, but it can be additional opinion to consider. So we're talking about creativity.
Okay, so to embed it so that it really is maybe an overarching opinion or an additional opinion,
Yep.
so that we're supported.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So for us, Gen AI is obviously top of mind, really how it can be applied on process data, because companies looking to us for a way how to unlock this creativity to improve their top line, bottom line, and sustainability. And what we are doing in that domain is really we have created a completely new way how you can model the data, called the Process Intelligence Graph, which gives you first this foundation, and then you can really dive deep into that, train your LLM model, on top of that, apply it, and really unlock this creativity in the dialogue. If you're a process analyst, if you're a COO, anybody who just wants to look in how the business processes are running.
So how many of us are already using AI to unlock data, to make sure that it's another data source? Is anybody here using it in that way? Have you embedded it in your systems? Okay, and that's definitely something you're working on and to help employ. Thank you.
Yeah, so from our perspective, if we talk about safety in AI, it's something that companies typically want. But the question is the how. And
right.
We see that as well as on the development side as on the application side. So it's so much about education of the engineers on the one side of how to develop these trustworthy AI solutions, and then on the other side for the ones that use it internally or as a customer, that they do it correctly, that they know what the technology is there for, that they don't use it in a totally different way where it never was meant to be developed. And then it works, but it's so much of an education challenge on all levels that you see. But if we do that right, I think it's in all our interests to make it safe, and that comes with it if people know how to do it right.
That's so true, that if you don't, that anything is a tool if you know how to use it. But is this education happening?
No, I mean, we come in typically when, for example,
It's gone wrong.
If we do education, we come in after university, and typically, at least what we see in Europe, people leave university as scientists. They are there for developing the most accurate model, the most performant model, but they don't engineer solutions the way that we can use it reliably, safely, and it's explainable and made for the users. So when the students come out, we start with the education, say, okay, now we make you an engineer, how to develop this solution in a way that we all want them to be used. So that's when you already start doing that.
So we're here on a platform with MIT, Forbes, and others. In terms of MIT, for example, do you find that there's a responsibility that universities should have to make sure that this gap is bridged?
Well, yes, obviously, yes. And especially universities like the MIT, with a strong engineering background as well, they do focus on that. But that needs to be much broader. And interestingly, like if we talk about Gen AI, most AI engineers left university before we even talked about Gen AI. So it doesn't stop when people leave university. It's kind of educating all the engineers in your companies how to now use these kind of new tools in a similar way. So it is a continuous learning, and it needs to be clear that as we deal with the technology that develops massively fast, that we continue to invest in our people, to invest in the understanding, to make these software systems and also safe in the end.
Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you, sir.
So to touch on the ethics side first, at Google, I mean, responsible AI and principle has been something that we have been obviously looking into from day one. From 7-8 years ago, we had our AI principles. For implementing that, there is a very regular educational material. So every Googler, or every Googler actually has to go through all of those, education regularly. There are processes that, also for approving every potential changes and work that we're doing is respecting those principles. I know there's a list of principles. Sometimes we develop things slower, just to, or not sometimes, always our development is getting slower because we do want to make sure that the trust is in design and it's responsible by design. And then we have tools, and tools is basically helping us to reuse types of responsible AI, for example, like sensitive classifiers or things of that source that we use for one part of the company in the rest of the company. And then when it comes into the business value that you touched on, what we're seeing over the past year, there's obviously lots of experimentation going on, lots of POCs going on, but in certain areas, the value is already proven. Some examples of that is obviously internal productivity, whether it's from coding assistance, which basically helps coders to become faster in coding, and this has been proven in many companies already. There are workspace productivity tools, for example, when you want to make easier slides, make easier documents, or easier presentations. That's another types of examples. And then there is on the customer service side, for example, areas like call centers, where you have lots of repetitive types of tasks. We're seeing some nice cost saving on those fronts. There's lots of other exploration is happening also. For example, I saw an example earlier about the AI sellers. There's lots of retail personalization types of works which is going on. Lots of interesting other work which is coming on, which I'm hoping to see the impact in the soon future.
Thank you. I'm going to be bold for a second and say this is the last panel before we're literally in party time here. So if you're not interested, then please walk out. If you're interested, please simmer down. The reason being that the acoustics here are such that we actually need it to be quiet for you to be able to hear. Now, what was said regarding Google was really important. How many of us want the first mover advantage when you're implementing a product, or you're creating a startup, or you're creating any business? We all want first mover advantage. Google especially is often criticized for many things. It feels as though everyone's a Googler and everyone, is creating it as you go along. But to take the time, accountability, and responsibility to create something, even if you are going to be second or third or fourth, really takes one, courage, 2, people expect a much greater product. And 3, it's something that they hope that all of us will use and benefit from. I saw that you wanted to say something. Please.
No, I just wanted to say Google Search is an example of that. So Google Search by no means was the first search engine. There were
Yes.
several successful search engines before that, but then of course that's an example. I mean, we should, this is not a reason to be slow. This is because the value of AI is so big, and
Yes,
so
exactly.
our motto is really bold and responsible. So go bold, and bold means actually to move fast and try to do big things, but try to keep that responsible aspects all the time.
Well, I feel as though a transformation is occurring right now, but we're asking the questions as it's being built. We're creating regulation and doing the bold steps right now before it gets too late and before you have reflux and reactions and criticism. So thank you for what you're doing. Please. And thank you for getting all the mics and getting us all set up.
Yeah, so I'm at Rent, we get shit done. So as for AI impact, so maybe I tell you, because we're kind of broaching values and impact, and one of the principles that we really rely on, we really believe in ecosystem. And I think those two, that's key for actually both domains. We work with a lot of organizations of different types, and we bring them together in an ecosystem that's, I would say, unique in Europe and for sure in Germany, where we bring together investors, government, startups, researchers, corporate teams, NGOs, right? Different people who are impacted by this technology and who are thinking about it. And I think that's one really important part of developing a strategy on a technology that's moving at light speed. I'm not sure we're going to be able to follow this speed, you know? At some point, it seems like it's going to hit supersonic soon. And the realization, you can't do it by yourself. And I think that's kind of also quite, you get a breather, because there are great partners out there who are asking these questions, who are working on the same questions, and that will make your organization and your processes more robust. And I think that's for both parts of the equation, how to build it, one, because you want to obviously be inclusive. We, for example, are running the AI House here in Davos, and we started off with a Women's AI Breakfast because we want to send a very clear message where we want to talk to these people. We want to understand who's building what, and we want to be part of the conversation and put them in touch. We're investing. So, I mean, what do we actually do at Merantix? We are an investor. We build new ventures. We help established organizations with a tech-enabled service company, and we run this campus. And we feel those are all parts of the equation in building an ecosystem that's quite comprehensive. And I think education, what you were mentioning, is actually also super critical. And that's why universities have to be part of this, and academia has to be part of it. But I would say this ecosystem approach, I cannot emphasize this more, and invite you also all to Berlin. It's a cool city, and we have a cool campus there. You should totally come and check it out. And really challenge yourself on how can you today make a connection here. I think this is the best place to make this connection, and find out how can you help each other develop things. And here on stage actually are many partners that we're working together with, and I think that also relieves you, because you're making plans, but if you're also relying on your ecosystem, your impact can be much bigger with a smaller organization or with a less mature organization at the same time.
Well, we
So
are creating. Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say, we are absolutely creating an ecosystem here. I have to say, I urge all of you to connect with each and every one across, but two in this direction. Because 25 of the buildings on the pavilion are dealing with AI literally in terms of the name on the plaque, let alone what's happening internally. We had Sam Altman in today, who's talking about how it should be inbuilt, integrated completely, so that we don't have to go and search for AI. We don't have to think, what does ChatGPT or AI think about this? It's already inbuilt. So we want to make sure that it's in part of the ecosystem from start to finish with all that thought process. I know you want to say something, but before you do, one moment, I'm just going to make sure that you speak, please.
Right. So I'd like to touch upon this issue of AI safety, and specifically on alignment of interest. I think it's a point which is often ignored. So imagine, take this example. You're looking for medical advice, you go on a chatbot, and then you get a result. And in your mind, maybe you're thinking it's similar to a doctor, just that a human hasn't looked at it. But in fact, it could be that there is a massive misalignment of interest. Maybe your information is used by, let's say, a health insurance to determine how much you're going to pay as a premium. And maybe they don't want to necessarily give you the best medical advice, and I think this is an important point, and I believe this should be brought forward.
We built Applied AI with that idea that AI can be accelerated in the adoption by just helping each other also across industries. And that topic of safety and trust and robust use of AI is something that many companies are so willing to talk with others, so that ecosystem approach that you're just mentioning, particularly on that topic, is first of all so important, and companies are so open to talk about it. So I really invite everyone to start these conversations also across industries, across different types of organizations, because that's where the learning comes from.
It's interesting that AI was akin or seen as similar to a nuclear weapon. Anything can be used for, let's say nuclear, let's say not weapon, nuclear. Anything can be used for good or bad. Everything's a tool, and it's how we use it that matters most. So with that, we're going to wrap up. Thank you for all being part of this really important ecosystem, for taking us forward, and please connect with each and every one of them so that we can really know how to use this tool for the betterment of society, as the World Economic Forum and Davos is meant to be doing. Thank you.